everyone, Assalamualaikum. My name is Rubania E-commerceWali. Today we have an inspiring guest. The name is Brenda. Brenda is the founder and CEO of the Women in Action Leadership Series INC. And after 30 years in the corporate world, she felt a calling to become an entrepreneur and help women build confidence and step into leadership roles. So, welcome Brenda in Salt Talk with Rubania. So, hi, and how are you?
Good morning, good afternoon, I guess. Hopefully, maybe it's your evening, even with the time difference. I'm great, thanks. And I want to say thank you for giving me this privilege to be able to be on your program.
Welcome Brenda, and thank you so much for joining. Our my first question, can you tell us about your journey from the corporate world to becoming an entrepreneur?
Okay. Well, my position, I actually started in a very structured corporate environment, where obviously I learned all my skills, I continued my education, and I managed to work my way around all the complexities that happen in the corporate world. But after 30 years in the corporate world, I felt I needed to do something else. So I felt and I knew that I had a passion and a calling to empower people. And I felt it was really particularly women who needed some direction. So I transferred from the corporate, became an entrepreneur, and I found it also gave me the freedom. I needed freedom to think. I needed freedom to design my programs as to what I wanted to do to move forward. And I wanted to make sure that I was actually honing in on women's needs.
Okay, that's great, Brenda. And my next question, after 30 years in corporate life, what was the exact moment you felt the calling to start your own company?
I remember clearly. It was just actually the night before the pandemic hit. And I was out at a networking session with women. And I listened to several women as they spoke. And they spoke about how intimidated they felt in the workplace or how they didn't have confidence to move forward, how they were trying to deal and handle a male environment. So I knew, since I felt it, that this was really, as I mentioned earlier, my calling. So that's when I knew the change had to be made, because I listened to these women. I knew I had been through a lot of the experiences that they had been during my 30 years in the corporate world. And I thought, okay, I'm going to take all my knowledge and my know-how and support women moving forward. So that was my calling.
That's amazing, Brenda. And Brenda, my next question, what inspired you to create the Woman in Action series?
Well, it stems from several of the things that I've just mentioned to you. And it really became my inspiration, as I mentioned, because I just saw too many women that were being held back. When I was in the corporate world for 30 years, I saw so many women being overlooked for positions that they were very capable of doing, but the position still went to men. I also experienced seeing women earning 30% less than their male counterpart made, even though that they were both doing the same jobs. So I really recognized at that time that there's a lot of inequities in the workplace between men and women. And also that there's such a low percentage of women in senior managerial positions. Like only 32% of senior jobs today are held by women. So I decided I know exactly my passion and what I wanted to do. And I wanted to work with women to help their voices be heard, to help these women feel comfortable and feel more useful than a lot of women feel in the workplace today. So that's where I decided I'm going to create my own program. And that became the Women in Action Leadership Series, Inc., like you mentioned on the introduction. So in my program, I'm actually divided it into two areas. One is a training component where I have built a 7-module leadership training program for women. And then the other part is my Empower Her coaching. I do one-to-one coaching for women who do not have the confidence, who are suffering from anxiety, suffering from fear. And those are the reasons that are holding them back. So I'm really proud of what my entrepreneurship took me to. And I've had the honor actually of supporting over hundreds of women to move forward throughout my career. So that's my continuance as I move forward.
Nice, Brenda, nice. So amazing. And Brenda, my next question. In your experience, what is the biggest challenge women face when stepping into leadership roles?
Okay, I believe that it's still the fact that women often have, not all women, but I believe there's like 70% of women have this internal feeling that they're not good enough. I can't handle it. And that all comes into what they say is the imposter syndrome. So I think that's really the number one thing that's holding women back. And then next, I'd have to say that it is really hard to get into a male dominated workplace. I have one really strong attribute that I think about every day and I'm so happy about is that I managed to become the first female vice president in a male dominated area. And that took me to another level of how to work and support women, and also the importance for me as a woman to continue to continue to grow. So it's mainly, and the other thing I'd mention before we move on is the societal pressures too. There's still societal pressures on women, and depending on what country you live in, they're different, right? So there are still thoughts out there that women should be in the homes all the time. Women should be, they're homemakers. They shouldn't be out in the workplace. And so, and then there's often even still large organizations that are run by men and believe that women do not have the strength or the power, to run large corporations. So women are always up against, a lot of, I say these days, fallacies in the workplace. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great, Brenda. And my next question, can you share a success story of a woman whose life changing through your coaching?
Oh, sure. I'm going to call the knit girl Sarah, just so we put her name. So Sarah is a young woman actually who had worked in a department store for many years. And she contacted me after she saw some of my advertising. And so I started coaching her. And I coached her for 3 months because her main concern was that she was in this large store. However, she was always too nervous to apply for a different managerial position. Even though she knew she was capable, she had the qualifications, she'd worked there many years, she wouldn't apply. So her and I worked together for 3 months and we worked on her confidence building, worked on leadership. We got her to the point where how she should dress to go to the interview, what the interview process would look like. And anyways, it was 4 or 5 weeks after our program was done that she got this job. And she was in touch with me nearly every other day. And I couldn't cheer her on more because I see that so often, not only in young women actually, but also in other women, because a lot of other women want to go back to work and they have, other things to deal with. But I still mentor Sarah today. We have a monthly meeting together, and where we go over her questions, and also if she has like any priority things happening with her, then she contacts me and we talk. But to me, when I see a woman who was more afraid, had no confidence, and then after 3 months go in and land a job that she could more than do, that's an amazing feeling.
Amazing story, Brenda. That's amazing. And my next question, Brenda, what does true leadership mean to you?
Hey, true leadership to me means, I would say, you have to be sure of yourself. And you have to know that you're not the only person who's there. And by that, I mean, you often have a team. And to me, my team is more important to the position than I was. So, leadership to me is having the strength, first of all, to do it, having the strength to lead your team, have the strength to help your team grow and develop so that they can move on. Also, there's so many values. Like, to be a strong leader, I believe, you have to show empathy. You have to be able to be compassionate. You have to know when it's your time to speak, when it's not your time to speak. I learned that a few times in meetings. But it has so many principles, and there's so many values. But to me, the part that I enjoyed the most in my leadership role was actually building my team. Because without the team, I was not going to accomplish anything. And that's why I think it's up to a female, any team leader at all, to actually work and ensure that their employees are happy, and also that your employees' ambitions. What do they want to do? So you as a leader can help them get there. So I think I'm all over the map probably, but there are so many things involved with being a true leader. Respect people, collaborate with people. So it's a very interesting role for all the women that are out there being a leader. And not, I would just want to mention too that everyone can be a leader. Often I've been asked over the years, well, if someone's quiet or they're too introverted, can they be a leader? Yes, anybody can be a leader. But that doesn't mean that every person wants to be a CEO of an organization. Some people are happy being a team member of a strong leader. And I noticed that, over the years as well.
And nice, Brenda, nice. And my next question, Brenda,
Mm-hmm.
um, okay, that's amazing. And 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. No problem.
Okay, so my question, what do you think women sometimes hesitate to go after more in their lives?
Okay. Could you repeat the question for me just once? Okay.
Sure, Brenda. My question, why do you think Uh,
Okay.
what do you think? Women sometimes hesitate to go after more in their lives.
Okay. Thank you for repeating it.
No problem.
I believe that women still, grapple with internally negativity. Um, that same negativity, I know I'll say it several times, but it's what's holding women back. That hesitancy is, I'm not good enough. I know when I first went to work with a group of men, I thought to myself, they're not going to listen to me. Like, I'm a woman. All these guys going to listen to me. So it's those feelings of that I'm not good enough. No one's going to listen to me. I mentioned earlier societal pressures, right? Women expected to be at home. And so a lot of husbands expect their wives, their partners to stay at home. So I think that's the reasons why women mainly hesitate to move forward. Women have got to actually learn more, all of us, and I had to learn it too, to that we have a voice and our voice needs to be heard. And it's up to us and young women like you to make that move forward, that women deserve that equality, not only in life, but they deserve that equality in the workplace. And often too, I worked with women who thought, oh, you know what? The men are going to think, or other colleagues are going to think that I'm too aggressive or I'm too a bit ambitious. And sometimes women even feel that way, that they're being too aggressive. So that holds them back as well.
Okay, that's great. And Brenda, my next question: how can women overcome fear and self-doubt in their career?
Okay. Well, I'd say in a very effective way is working with a coach uh, and mentors. And also always understand that every woman has community support, right? They have to talk about things. If they're not with a coach or a mentor, they need to talk about their feelings. And often that's so good with between very, very close friends, very close family members. And then because I have found that many women cannot overcome self doubt or fear by themselves. They need to work with a coach or someone who totally understands where they're from. I dealt myself too. I dealt with lack of confidence, even though when I first became the first female VP. And I remember going into my first board meeting, and I didn't know whether or not I wanted to open the door because I knew behind that door was just a group of men and not one single additional woman. So when I opened the door and I went in, I thought to myself at first, why am I here? Maybe I should turn around and leave. But it was that strength within me that said, no, just go and sit down. First of all, find a chair, sit down. And gradually throughout the meeting, I realized I had just as much to contribute, maybe if not more than some of the men that were there at this meeting. So women have got to do that. It's we've been hiding ourselves for too long, and I've seen so many intelligent women, even working in the industry where I worked, that could have gone on but chose not to. So, but I like to say for me to help women, it would be through my training programs that I have on leadership. It would be through my one-to-one coaching. As I mentioned, women can't do this on their own. I went to a mentor too before I finished my schooling, and I was with a mentor for several years. I still have a mentor that I call on every now and then. So, and then the other thing is to when women decide to work with a coach, I think one of the best things that happen is that together, we dig and we find out really what is holding that woman back. What is holding her back from moving forward? And sometimes the issues that are holding women back are issues that started from when they were very young and how they felt, or how their home life was, or how their teachers made them feel. So there's a lot of complexity with women who are suffering from fear and anxiety. And it's not only women, it's young women too, like yourself. And I've had a few teenagers too that still are in coaching with me. So, but they can do it. They can do it. I think that's the biggest thing is all women got to understand that they can do it. But look for support. Go to somebody you trust. Talk about it with your friends, your family, whoever though you feel the most comfortable with. I think that's who women should be talking to help them get rid of self-doubt in their career. Because once they see themselves starting to move in a different position, then do they become that stronger woman that they can be.
Wonderful, Brenda. Wonderful. And my next question, what skill do future women leaders need the most in today's world?
Well, I would say definitely that you need strong communication skills. You have to understand how to communicate and when to communicate, I think are important. Emotional skills. You have so many ups and downs in your career, whether you're just starting, whether you're in the middle, whatever. You have to have that emotional thought process and realize strong emotional presence as well. So you have to have the ability to work with diverse teams. I love working with diverse teams. I had a very diverse workforce, and everybody had something, all the different nationalities and cultures, everybody had something different to bring to the table. And everybody learns from diversity. And I think once the world accepts that diversity is important, your company grows faster by having diversity and having diverse people. Also, problem solving is important. Take training on problem solving, and because that is going to help you, as well, in your business. Obviously, in this day and age, AI, that artificial intelligence, learning about it, don't be afraid of it. Not everybody's going to lose their jobs because of AI, but you've got to know about it and have a good training in it. The same as technology. Know all about your computers. Know all about how to do a PowerPoint. Do a presentation like you're doing today is fabulous. But all women have to understand that they need those certain abilities to even be considered to get into the workforce today, because everybody is continues, to build their knowledge and their work. And that is what's going to help. One woman over another woman is actually going to be those key areas. And I'll tell you, communication is definitely one of them. Problem solving is another one. Being a team player, remembering that you may be the leader, but a leader can't lead alone. A leader needs to build her strong team, and so that they know they have that mutual respect. And I believe that my business, when I was in the corporate world, was very successful because I I created a team that worked well together and appreciated each other. So have that ability to be able to understand what a team is and what's going to make you the best leader and the best boss that people are asking to come and work with you.
Okay, that's nice, Brenda. And my next question, what advice would you give to women who feel stuck in their current roles?
I would say, first of all, that woman has got to be very honest with herself as to what are her feelings, or really what may be holding her back. That is really important, because sometimes we just don't want to evaluate ourselves, or we just don't look at ourselves as a true person that we are seeing ourselves be. So also take the advantage where you can to learn as much as you can, and appreciate, you know, what the rules are out there and what people's roles are. I found a lot that helped me was networking. I went to so many meetings, even meetings I wasn't invited to, but I went anyway, because I knew the talk of that meeting was going to be something that could help me. So network as much as you can. Get to know professional people as much as you can. I always say to look and see what's happening, depending on where you go to school and where you are, but see what's happening at the local libraries, or what's happening locally. Community college. Also, I know in Canada, we do a lot of free programs, and I do free programs for helping students that are going through college now. So there's a lot of things we can do, but surround yourself to, I'm going to say, surround yourself with the right people. Uh, don't don't think that your friends are the people that gossip about other people, because they're going to be gossiping about you too. So pick your friends and understand that you want to have friends that are heading in the same direction that you are, so you can empower each other and learn from each other. I think that's what I would say.
Nice. Yeah. So my next question, what motivates you personally to keep doing this work?
What brought me to do this work?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, what brought me to do this work was what I do is because recognizing very early in my career as well that women weren't treated the same. And that was holding women back. I also know that I have a passion, and that my passion is for helping people and women.
Okay, that's great. And my next question, what message would you like to give to young women aspiring to become leaders?
Wow. To all you young women out there, including yourself, that's looking to become inspiring leaders, I would say believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, because you can do it. And first, you have to have it in your heart, and you know that that's what you want to do, and you can do it. Realize that every woman's voice matters. Even when you think that it may not matter, everybody's voice matters. And so don't be intimidated to speak up. And so what? So what if what you're saying may not make total sense to somebody, or might not be the answer someone's looking for? But take that time and do it. So don't become the humble person in the corner, become the lady and the person that's going to stand up for herself and for other women. And I'd say to don't be afraid to take risks. You know, if you feel that you want to try a different study or try something different in life, try it. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to you personally. So just try it and do it. So take those risks. Don't be afraid to dream. I dreamt a lot. I used to dress up when I was little and pretend. I'd take my dad's little case, and I would pretend that I was going off to work. So my parents at that time saw something in me. I was dressed up in my mom's little high heels and stuff, walking all around, but with a briefcase. So when my parents, as I got older, my parents told me that. My dad said he always knew I was going to go into some type of business, whether it be my own or whether it be somebody else's. So take those risks. Always pursue your passion. Don't let anyone take away, I always say, your light. Pursue your passion. And remember that it's not easy. So not easy to get there. Sometimes you're going to find there's hills and there's valleys, right, to move forward. But always keep in mind that anything that you want to do, you can do it. You know, some days are going to be hard days, and other days are going to be like, whoa, I had a great day today. And other days are going to be, why am I doing this? But when you know what your passion is and your career is, then that's what I'd say. Go towards your goals, what you want to do, and don't let anyone stop you. Be yourself.
A wonderful message, Brenda. Wonderful. And thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing your insights, experience, and inspiration with us today. And your journey and your guidance will surely motivate many women to step into leadership roles with confidence. We wish you all the best in your mission and look forward to seeing the impact of the woman in action. Leadership is continue to grow. So thank you so much everyone for watching my interview. And bye bye Brenda and bye bye everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you. It was fun.
Welcome.